So I've got a 2018 Chevy Bolt with a really strange problem going on. Look at the temperature display, displaying negative 18 degrees. And then sometimes it'll jump up and down to normal temperature. I keep getting an ice possible message on the cluster there. I've checked for codes. There's no codes. I've disconnected the battery, which temporarily solves the problem. Originally, this came in because the air conditioning is not blowing cold at all. It's blowing warm because the system thinks it's in a sub-zero environment. The air conditioning is disabled. So, like I said, I disconnected the battery and it started working immediately. I had it driven, and the guy that drove it for me, see, look, there's the ice message. The guy that drove it for me said that it was doing exactly this. It was the message was coming on and off, the temperature's jumping up and down. I took the car for a drive, monitoring the actual sensor value as read by the module that it reports to, and never had any problems, never had any dropouts. So this appears to be some sort of software flaw. Take a look at the HVAC control module. Ambient air temperature sensor data does actually read negative 19. Now, I don't think that has to be a communicated value, because the only ambient air temperature sensor on the car talks to the HPCM2 and not the HVAC control module. So it has to be a communicated value. I'm going to drive it and monitor what this value does. This is after the road test. Ambient air temperature filtered value, as you can see, it did most of the time was normal, but it did at times jump. Actually, it was not normal. It was reading negative 19, and then at times it would jump up to normal and then back. So, like I said, this doesn't make sense to me, because this is a communicated data. The HVAC control module does not actually read this sensor directly. And the module that does was reporting that the sensor was working just fine. So this kind of suggests faulty software, or maybe there's an update. I'm going to search for bulletins, maybe see if there's a software calibration update. I may need to consult General Motors themselves. Yeah, this is the weird one. See, it's doing it right now. It's freaking out. I checked radio data, does not have temperature data. I checked cluster data, does not have temperature data. There were no updates for the HVAC control module. So at this point, I'm going to consult General Motors themselves and say, hey, what do you guys want me to replace? Because I feel that there is not anything that I can test, or, I can't repair a sensor or a wiring that's not faulted out right now. And like I said, this is a communicated value. It's not a live reading. This is about 1 minute after opening the driver's door. We have an ice possible message. We have ambient temperature displaying incorrect. Notice that it is proportionate. It is a cooler day today. So we've got ambient temperature display, and the ice message is gone. Just sitting here for about 5-10 minutes. The temperature has updated from negative 10 to negative 11. Here we are on another day. Fault is still present after sitting over the weekend. Been sitting here with the key on. Notice we are readied up, so we are key on, engine on. The temperature has slowly been creeping up. So the field service engineer wants me to disable the HVAC control module and see if anything changes, and also retrieve some part numbers from the OnStar module. This is the result of disabling the HVAC control module via removal of the F33 fuse in the instrument panel fuse block. I'm going to power it down and then power it back up. open up the door and cancel our key cycle. This is about 1 minute after shutting everything down and closing the door. We still have the ICE message on the IPC. This is with the HVAC control module disabled from communicating. The HVAC module's already been replaced at the insistence of sales department, so we know that's not the problem. Okay, so I took a quick road test. The ICE warning message was toggling on and off on the cluster still with the HVAC module disabled as they requested, so that tells us that it's not the HVAC module. We already knew that because sales pushed me to replace it and it didn't fix it. But GM Engineering is suspecting that it could be a problem in the cluster or the hybrid powertrain control module 2, HPCM2. We're not sure if it's hardware or software because we're trying to logic this out, right? Why would all these other cars on the road that have the exact same software calibrations in them not have this problem? So we're kind of thinking that it might be a hardware fault on one of the circuit boards for one of the modules that's communicating. So I'm going to send my findings to them, and they're going to get back to me on what they want me to do. So at this point, the vehicle is out of my hands. I can't do anything on this vehicle. There's nothing physically wrong, and that's how I ended up getting General Motors engineers involved, because I said, there's nothing wrong with this car physically that I can change. There's something in the software, some sort of communication fault that is causing this, because the sensor that's actually responsible for measuring the outside air temperature does work. It works fine. The module, the HPCM2, reads that data normally, and it, when I check it with my scan tool, it all reads normal. Everything's fine, but we just have this erratic communicated data, and it'll go away if I disconnect the battery. If I disconnect the battery, that goes away and the AC starts working until your ambient temperature starts updating. So you either drive it or you let it sit overnight, and then this problem immediately comes back. So as you can see, we have an ICE message flashing on and off the IPC. Our temperature display is still erratic. Like I said, I'm going to now send my findings to them, and then they're going to get back to me. Well, I just got off the phone with the field service engineer, and although I had previously checked the HPCM2 for calibration updates, it now says unrecognized calibration. We're going to try to force program it and then see if that makes any difference, and I'm going to get back to him. Here we are, next key cycle after programming the HPCM2 as requested by the field service engineer. We still have a fault. Still getting the ICE message displaying and the negative temperature value. Let me key that off and then key it back up. Yep, still got that ICE message displaying. Maybe I'll try to disconnect the battery and then drive it and just make sure that this fault has not changed at all before I report back to him. Okay, so after programming the HPCM2, I took approximately a 6.5 mile drive. I re-enabled the HVAC control module before, and I also disconnected the battery and then reconnected the battery before my road test. So I immediately had the same problem, drove the vehicle, and I started at -15, and slowly it would update. It went -16, -17, -18, -19. And then I took it for another drive and once again verified that the ambient air temperature sensor data is working okay. It's stable, and obviously we still have an ICE message toggling. HVAC control module data was toggling. It would toggle from normal to negative values at some times, just like it's always been doing. So I'm going to forward this information to the field service engineer, and he's going to get back to me and tell us what to do. Okay, so here we are the next day after sharing my findings. The field service engineer is going to show up today for the second time to hook up to this vehicle. He stated that General Motors Engineering has provided him with a specialized scan tool file that will give him a new function that none of us other technicians have. And he's going to try that and let them know what the result is. So this is something General Motors is working on, engineering is working on. They've got engineers from Korea working on this. There's a lot of questions involved with this, and they are very interested in finding out what is the cause of this and what is the fix of this. So we will see what happens. Don't know if I'll be able to record anything that the field service engineer is going to do. May have to get his permission. Maybe I won't even ask. I don't know. Okay, well, it's about 4 hours later. The field service technician just left. The field service engineer, I mean. He was here for about 4 hours sitting in this car, and he told me he was on a conference call with like a dozen different engineers, and they were all trying to theorize on what's going on with this car. And I believe they collected numerous amounts of data to process. So he's going to get back to me in the next few days. That's all I got for now. Okay, so it's 2 days later. I just received a phone call from the field service engineer. He now wants me to check the body control module calibrations and update the body control module. If the body control module is already up to date, he wants me to attempt to force program it if possible. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Okay, so the body control module was already up to the latest calibration, but I'm going to go ahead and force program it anyway and just see if it helps at all. And then I'm going to report the results. This is after the body control module force programming. Let's see, did it make any difference at all? Nope, it did not. We still have the ice message, and we still have the ambient temperature toggling from normal to negative values. So I will send him the message, and I'll let him know that that did not help at all. This is after a battery disconnect, and it seems to still have a failure, so it's possible that I did not leave the battery disconnected for long enough. Let me try and disconnect that again. Well, here we are sometime later. The FSE just gave me a call and he says he's gonna come take a look at it again. Working on replacing the HPCM2 underneath the passenger seat. It's access to this slit in the carpet. Allegedly, these connectors just disconnect and you pull it off of those tabs, so we'll see. Nothing visually wrong with it. Maybe a little stain there, but I can't say that that's actually a problem. First key up after the programming. Let's see if there's any difference at all. It's unhappy with the programming and some learns that need to be done, I bet. I don't even see a temperature display anymore, so probably gonna have to let it sit with the key or ignition off for a few minutes and let it do its thing. I waited 5 minutes with the vehicle off and doors locked, and it looks like the problem is still present. The field service engineer will probably be pleased to hear that. I don't think General Motors knows what's wrong with this vehicle. They can't seem to get an answer from any of the engineers as to what's going on. So I'm gonna update them and we're gonna do what they tell me after this. This is the point that we are at with this car, ladies and gentlemen. The engineers, General Motors, the people that built this car don't know what's wrong with it, and we are now throwing parts at it. We are replacing the HPCM2, didn't fix it. They want me to replace the ambient air temperature sensor. I kind of doubt it's going to fix it, but I'm going to try it anyway because they want me to, just to check it off the list. And if that doesn't do it, then the field service engineer is probably going to come back here again, and they're going to take a look at it again. I don't know what to say here. Here's the ambient air temperature sensor data as viewed from the HPCM2, by the way, and our erratic temperature display. So I'm going to replace the sensor that is apparently working okay, and then we will see what happens. Got my old and new ambient air temperature sensors going in. There it is, new sensor is installed. Well, the new sensor reads about 63 degrees, and that could be because the new part was stored indoors and the car was parked outside, so don't know what to say there. That's really pretty minor, and the error is still present anyway. At least I think it is. I might have to drive it to force the algorithm to start updating that temperature, but I think that since we've already keyed it up with a good ambient air temperature sensor signal, most likely we still have a fault present. So I'm going to update them and then let them come back here and take a look at it. And now that I said that, the sensor is already cooled down a little bit. Well, the field service engineer had me order a body control module, and then he came back a fourth time now, I think, or maybe a fifth time. I can't even keep track anymore. He collected some data. He had his engineer friends on the phone, and they decided that they want to wait on replacing the body control module, and they would rather have me replace the instrument panel cluster first and then see if that fixes it. So I'm going to do what they say. Well, this is after installing the new instrument cluster, and before I've programmed it, immediately it looks like there is no more negative temperature display and no ice message, so let me program it and see if that holds. Well, it would appear after nearly 2 months, about 16 hours worth of my time, 4, maybe 5 visits from the field service engineer, as well as all of his time spent on the phone with General Motors engineers, both here and in Korea, it appears that this vehicle is finally fixed. I'm going to update the field service engineer with what we found. I'm sure he will be pleased to find out what fixed it as well. And that's all I've got. That was a hell of a diagnostic. This vehicle took everybody. It took all hands on deck to figure this one out. Well, now it's got a new problem. Rear park assist off, radio is up to date, all that good stuff. It's got no codes. In the park assist data, it says park assist disable history is driver personalization settings, implying it's in the radio settings. So anyways, rear park assist is turned on. Park assist is on. Okay, you can see it there. Now let's look at scan tool data. See right here it says parking system disabled. Disable history 1 through 4. Disabled by driver personalization, excessive speed in reverse, driver personalization, excessive speed in reverse. I don't know what to say there because I really doubt that it's ever seen excessive speed in reverse, and I just showed you that it is not disabled by the driver personalization settings. So maybe this is going to require a battery disconnect because it looks like another software flaw. Okay, so I tried an SPS2 configuration of the park assist module, and that did not help. I'm going to go in here and clear disable history. Continue. And is it going to let me click it? No. Why won't it let me clear? Okay, I don't know what to say here. It says the commanded state is clear, and it's not erasing anything, so nothing I can do here. Well, the second time I went into the menu, now it'll let me click it. And now it's erasing. So let's back out of here and let me test operation, see if it's gonna work this time, and see what happens. Power it down. probably not long enough to let it power down. Put it in reverse. Park assist seems to be working, but we still get the rear park assist message. Let me go into the settings. And what do we got? Vehicle settings. Park assist is on. As you can see, let me turn it off. Turn it back on. Okay, let me now come back into my park assist data and go to my disable history. Okay, look at that. Disabled by driver's personalization settings. That's not okay because there's nothing I can do about that. It's looking like another software flaw, and it's looking like my next step is to attempt a battery disconnect. Because I checked for radio updates, I checked for park assist module updates, and there are none. So we're at another dead end where it's looking like a software flaw. Okay, so this is after disconnecting the battery for probably 20 or 30 minutes. What do we have? Any error messages? Besides the fact that it won't let me clear the hood message. It's unhappy because I'm readied up with the hood open. It doesn't like it. Okay. Press brake. My foot was on the brake. Rear park assist off. Still. Okay. Let me go into settings again. Vehicle. Park assist is on. Okay, this is the kind of stuff you cannot make up, ladies and gentlemen. Let me check my data. Okay, park assist on. I just showed you. The park assist setting is on. I'm going to check codes now. Got some sort of new code set as current. That I kind of doubt has anything to do with our park assist, but I guess if there was a problem with the transmission range sensor not displaying that you're in reverse properly, perhaps could disable the park assist. But let me go check the park assist data again where it says disable history. This is park assist, disable history, driver personalization. So I don't know what to say here. I guess I'm gonna have to take a look at that new code and see where that leads me. Okay, so it basically just says if you have this code, then attempt to reprogram the transmission range control module. If you still get a code, replace it. And then up here it said some more information. It says check some sort of rod linkage if equipped. So I still don't really think that has anything to do with the park assist, but that's the only thing that I have to follow at the moment. Okay, well, it would not let me program the range control module because it was already at the latest calibration. I did the setup procedure on the range control module, and now the code is gone. So, but I still have the park assist message, and I still have no codes. I have nothing to go on. Nothing in the service information even guides you on something like this. The radio is fully up to date. Everything's up to date. I can't program anything. I don't know what to do here other than call the FSE again and say, hey, I've got another software flaw that there's nothing on this car that I can do about it. I can't replace anything, not without just guessing. I can start throwing things at it, but what else can I do here? Okay, so just checking the schematic, the park assist module communicates to the radio and to the cluster that was replaced. The cluster ended up being the cause of the ambient temperature problem, but now we've got the park assist problem communicating between the radio as to the driver personalization settings, which are in the radio it says it's on, but in the park assist module it thinks it's off. So this is another issue of communicated data, and there's nothing I can do here. So I don't know what to say. So I've got Tom walking behind the vehicle. As you can see, park assist does pick him up. Now watch when I put it in park, it says rear park assist off. And then we're going to go into the vehicle settings. Park assist is on. And we're going to go to the vehicle data. Park assist system disabled. Disable history. Driver personalization. If I erase that and then repeat this, it will come back. So driver personalization comes back. And then I've I checked the park assist module is fully up to date. Radio's up to date, etc. Well, it's a few days later. I got busy. As you can see, the temperature display is still working, so at least we fixed that. So still have the problem here of putting it in park and it says rear park assist off. I've contacted General Motors. They don't know. I texted the FSC about it. He doesn't know. It's another dead end. It's another situation where I kind of have to help myself, or I need to call in some heavy artillery. And experience tells us that we're just going to end up throwing parts at it anyway. So I am now thinking outside the box. I've decided that the radio communicates to the park assist module. The park assist either disable or not. It's communicated from the radio to the park assist module on the low speed network. So I'm thinking outside the box. It obviously doesn't seem to matter if I turn it off and then back on. So I'm thinking maybe if I turn it off and then turn the vehicle off, enter a new key cycle, I'll try that. And if that doesn't work, what I'll do is I will disable the radio. I'll take the fuses out for the radio, completely power it all down, power the vehicle up so that the park assist module, when it wakes up, it no longer receives that message and it goes into error, says, hey, I can't talk to the radio. So then I'll power it all down and re-enable the radio, power it back up and see what happens. And if that doesn't work, the only thing left is to disconnect the battery, and I think I've already done that. I no longer know what to say on this car. I'm about to give up. I'm honestly about to give up for the second time in this car, and I'm just going to say, well, bring in the FSE, bring in the engineers, you guys figure it out, because there's nothing else I can do. Okay, so this is interesting. This is after I've turned the park assist off. As you can see, it now says park assist on. I checked codes. We have history codes, park assist module lost communication with body control module, IPC, radio, and trailer interface control module. That's very interesting. And then look at this. If it's off and I throw it in reverse and then press park, there is no park assist off message. Turn it back on. You can't make this stuff up. I don't know what to say here. Okay, so I repeated the process. I turned the parking assist system off in the radio, and then I shut everything down for at least an hour. And I come back and the radio has decided that the park assist should be on again. So it appears we have something going on with the radio. I'm now gonna check codes and see if any codes came back. I had some lost communication codes, history codes come up in the park assist module. Okay, well, no codes came back. Everything's the same. So the next step, I'm going to try to disable the radio electrically, disconnect it, and then power everything up. Let the park assist module fail to communicate and therefore fail to retrieve the radio desired setting, and we'll just see what happens. Let's power it up with the radio disabled. I just removed the fuse because it's going to be very labor intensive to actually get down to the radio. Okay, obviously the radio is now not powering up. Put it in reverse. Condition's not correct for shift because I didn't ready it up. And there we go, now we're ready. Park assist off, that's kind of predictable. Still getting the same rear park assist message when I put it in park though. Park assist temporarily unavailable. Okay, so now I will check codes and see what the park assist data looks like. Predictably, we have multiple modules telling us that it can no longer communicate with the radio. Okay, so in the meantime, I have reset the disable history data, and it says none. Throw it in reverse. Park assist temporarily unavailable. Put it in park. Rear park assist off. Seems like we're getting two separate park assist messages here. Okay, so, and then nothing. It doesn't come up with anything for park assist disable history. Here's the park assist data in reverse. It now says inhibited, but that's predictable because I've disabled a crucial part of the system. So I'm gonna now re-enable the radio and see what happens. Ready it up. This is after I've re-enabled the radio. I put the fuse back in. Give it a little bit to actually boot. Maybe I broke it. Look what I did. I broke it. Throw it in reverse. Press park. Still getting a rear park assist message. Okay, the last attempt that I'm going to do is disconnect the battery for an extended time, which I believe I've already done. And then if that doesn't help, I give up. I'm giving up. I'm going to let General Motors know what I found, all the testing I've done, and I'm going to let them take over, and they're probably going to send the field service engineer back out here, and he's going to probably tell us to replace this part and that part because he doesn't know either, because I already texted him about it. He doesn't know. We both talked about it, and it's like neither one of us can even think about what could be causing this other than a communication fault. I'm almost suspecting that it's the new cluster, because none of this park assist problem was present before the cluster got replaced. And now something that has me questioning the cluster is that I've got a rear park assist off message, but then I also had a park assist off, two different park assist off messages, and that doesn't quite make sense to me. So I don't think I'll be able to reprogram the cluster to a different calibration. I don't think that there was even any options given to me at the time. So could this be an incorrect hardware? Could it be the wrong cluster? I don't even know what to say anymore because I give up. I'm moving on to another car. And like I said, I'm gonna let them tell me. You guys tell me what you want me to fix. What do you want me to replace? Okay, so I've had the battery disconnected for over an hour. I had a jumper wire connecting the battery positive and negative for over an hour. Oh, I forgot the key. Let me grab the key. Let's try this again with the key. Okay, so I put it in reverse. I put a garbage can behind me. As you can see, the park assist is working. Putting it in park assist off message. Got my settings. Vehicle. Collision. Park assist is on. Okay, so we're just stuck in this endless loop. I don't know what to say anymore. I'm giving up. I give up on this car. General Motors and their engineers are gonna tell me, what do you guys want me to fix? Because we're at a point of throwing parts at it again. I don't know what else to say. Well, it is now December 28th. The last time that I touched this car was October 17th, so it's been a while. A couple people have driven this. I don't think they've driven it very far. It still has the same problem. I tried it, put it in reverse, hit park, and it still says park assist off, so it still has the problem. I've given up on the vehicle. Everybody's involved has given up on the vehicle because now it takes mass amounts of money to just, we're gonna try, right? GM told me, they said maybe it's the radio, maybe it's this, and each one of these spins of the wheel is about $500 to $1,000, so nobody wants to spend the money and try. So I'm giving up on this vehicle, but what I am going to do before I give up on it is I'm going to take a data sample on DLC Terminal 1 of the low-speed circuits for possibly later. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to capture some data and see what it looks like as that system's communicating, and then I'm going to do some serial decoding maybe in a later video, because I need to first teach myself how to serial decode properly. I've already kind of set it up and done some playing around with it, so we can zoom in here on the data stream. These are ones and zeros as the system communicates. I had it working for before. Let me turn that on. Hit OK. So now we've got some serial data decoding, because the Pico is able to do something like that. So once I learn a little more about how to do this, I can maybe pick out which module exactly is sending that incorrect message on the park assist. But I'm gonna have to do that on my own time. And like I said, I'm gonna wrap this video up, and maybe I will look into this. I'm gonna take some save some Pico files so that I can look at this later and see if I can make any progress, just for my own curiosity, right? This is how I learn, this is how I get better. So this may be a follow-up video in the future, but for now, that's all I've got. I give up on this car. Everyone involved is giving up on this car. Thanks for watching.